Welcome to Eureka. I am Gauhar Raza and you are watching Eureka, a program that brings one of the nation's scientists, outstanding scientists, face to face with you. Today we have Dr. Lalji Singh with us. Welcome to Eureka program.
Thank you.
Doctor. Dr. Lalji Singh is an outstanding personality, an outstanding scientist, an able administrator, institution builder, and a first-rate scientist who is intensely involved also in social work. How do you manage to do so many things? And the kind of things that you have been doing in life are just amazing. How did you manage that? When you look back at your life span, how could you achieve so much in such a short span of time?
I think the scientific attitude and approach is the main thing in whatever I do. And whatever I undertake, I put my heart and soul, everything in it. I don't do it because I just have to do it.
That is the magic wand that you have. You come from a very sleepy and small village in UP. How did this journey begin that you opted for science? And why did you opt for science?
I was born in 1947, 5th of July, in a village.
And just after 1 month, India became independent. I know that.
And poor farmer's family. My father was not very educated. He was only 8th pass. But he realized.
And what was your mother doing?
Mother was housewife.
Housewife.
So, but my father realized the importance of education, and he was very particular that his children get educated.
Dr. Lalji Singh, what I would like to know personally, other than viewers' interest, I am sure they will be interested in, how did you become a snake charmer?
You see, the turning point in my education was after intermediate, when I got admission in Banaras Hindu University.
Right. And now you are Vice-Chancellor of Banaras Hindu University. That question will come later, but this
is. I did my BSc, MSc and joined for PhD under supervisor Professor S.P. Rai Chaudhary, who was then head of the department of geology, big name in genetics. So, I had a special paper in MSc. And I went to him to give me the problem. He said, you do chromosomes of snakes. Then I asked him, why snakes? He said, because no one has done it in India.
Simple reason.
So I took it as a challenge, but I was very much afraid of snakes. So there was one snake catcher called Najju in Banaras. So I caught a hold of him. So he used to bring a snake for me, and he stay in the lab till I will take the blood. I developed technique directly taking blood from the heart of the snake without killing it. So he will hold it, and I used to take the blood. And I made chromosome preparations, and it's just a coincidence that we got fantastic results in the chromosomes, and which showed that you can trace the evolution, how non-poisonous, poisonous snakes evolved, and what determines their sex. So, sex determination, which later on I did a lot of work, actually began from a snake.
From that research.
And
then in the process you became also a snake charmer, and you can catch any snake.
Yeah, true. So much so that in Banaras, if any snake came out in anybody's house, used to call me that there is snake in the house. So was in the Hyderabad. Even
but
after
this research took you to the best of the institutes in the world.
Yes.
And you worked there. Would you like to talk about that experience of yours?
Yeah, as I mentioned to you from the very beginning, that I was determined to be second to none, no matter what problem I took. And then I discovered certain fundamental things. Those time facilities were not available in India.
Right.
And I wanted to go out and do DNA study of those snakes. I had certain hypothesis that sex chromosome snakes have a specific DNA which is not present in another sex.
Right.
And that time, outside the country, there was a center in United States and center in Edinburgh University. In Edinburgh, it was Professor Ken Jones, who was doing on satellite DNA. You can isolate a class of repetitive sequences and map them by in situ hybridization on the chromosomes. And Joe Gall was in America.
Right.
They are the one who developed the technique of in situ hybridization. That was a major breakthrough in that technology.
We are talking about 80s, 70s and 80s.
70s. I went to Edinburgh 74 that time.
74. Yeah.
So, after completing my PhD from Banaras Hindu University, I moved to Calcutta University when Professor S. P. Raj Chaudhary retired and joined there as emeritus professor. So, very little space I had, and in Bengal you find lot of snakes. So, for me it was very good thing.
It's been always famous for snakes.
So, I made certain observation, then I wanted to go and do postdoc at DNA level. I wrote to many scientists abroad in the US and UK, as every student does. And they will say, I will give you a postdoctoral fellowship, but you have to work on my problem.
Right.
Dr. Jones was working on chimpanzee and human. I said, no, I want to work on snakes. And then Joe Gall, he said, your idea is absurd.
Okay.
I still have the letter when he wrote that
idea of working on snakes is absurd.
No, no.
Then
when I said there is a chromosome specific DNA,
right.
then satellite DNA, then he said that's absurd because we have satellite DNA when hybridized in situ, it goes to all the chromosomes.
Right.
So, your idea is absurd that you will be able to separate out that class of DNA. But if you want to work on human, I have fellowship I can offer you. Then I refused it. Dr. Jones also put the same condition. Then I wrote in detail what I want to do. Then he grudgingly agreed that, but you have to find your own fellowship. I don't. I have money to work on chimpanzee and human, but not on snakes. So then I applied for a Commonwealth fellowship. It's a coincidence.
And you got it very
I got
easily.
it.
You just got it.
Whatever
you wanted, you kept on getting throughout your life.
So I got it. Then I wrote to Dr. Jones, and probably he said that considering that I will never succeed in getting any fellowship, so he will be out of it.
I have to take a break. Don't go anywhere. The discussion is turning very interesting. We'll come back very soon. Welcome back to Eureka. Today we have Dr. Lalji Singh with us, and the discussion was going on about snakes. But Dr. Lalji Singh, when you came to India after completing your PhD and assignments, and you were fully trained to do lots of research with new ideas, how did you come to a conclusion that genetic engineering at CCMB and the area that you were working in will be supported in India?
In fact, I was invited by the then director and founder director of Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology, Dr. Bhargava. I visited along with Professor Jones and some scientists from US and gave a talk, and Dr. Bhargava presented in his own style that best institution in the world he is building. If I am interested,
CCMV, CSIR, Council of Scientific and Industrial.
So
he is still very proud of the institution, and so you are.
So he offered me position, but I went back, and he sent me written offer. Then I put a lot of conditions, and he accepted all those conditions, including I wanted somebody to be appointed who was in UK. Even that he accepted. The more and more he accepted all the conditions which I gave, I became more skeptical that in India, if somebody says I will give you everything what you need, then
there is some catch.
some catch in this. But when I put that he appoint so and so, he appointed, the person went and joined, and he kept the lab as I wanted. Then he wrote back saying that if there is any lab in India, this is CCMB, now it's up to you to decide. So then I had actually morally, I was morally bound to come back after putting conditions, and if all conditions are accepted, then what excuse you give that I won't come. Then I took a decision and
that you will come back here.
Came back,
what is this BKM very important probe that you developed and your team developed, and how did it serve the nation?
When I was in UK, when the live snakes were sent to me, then I succeeded in isolating high molecular weight DNA. From that, I isolated satellite DNA from Indian banded krat, minor satellite DNA. That's how name came, a snake minor satellite DNA. So that I separated out in different contexts. So when I returned to India in 1987, Dr. Bhargava asked me. He knew my work, and he knew that these sequences are highly variable. And in 1985, Alex Jeffrey had developed a DNA fingerprinting probe from human, which he got patented, and it was being used by him, or anybody in the world wanted to use was using his technology.
That also had a direct link with crime and also finding out the parentage.
That is true. Actually, it was here I would like to mention that there are two things. One is a discovery, other is a innovation.
Right.
The discovery, what Alex Jeffrey made, I had made before him.
Right.
That these sequences are highly variable and different. I was doing in snakes, he was doing in human. But his innovative idea that this discovery you can make use of for identification of criminals in forensic investigation. So, which I did not do at that time.
But the probe that you developed is being used for detecting crimes and also solving some of the problems of parentage and also.
When I returned to India, because Alex Jeffrey's probe was patented, it was not available. Then Dr. Bhargava asked me, it took about a year, then I developed that probe from his snake satellite DNA.
And it was used in very high profile.
Because that time India was only third country in the world after UK and United States, which had developed its own DNA probe. And took it to the court and saw that it is
accepted. Can I make a statement that till yesterday we couldn't tell who fathered whom? Today we can definitely tell.
Certainly, yes.
Certainly. And this can also be used for identifying DNA, fingerprint of a person and solve a lot of crime, which you have already done. Would you recall some of the high profile cases?
So many cases I did, including our former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi assassination case, Nana Sahani's case, and Ben Singh murder case in Punjab, and so many paternity dispute, and Swami Premananda case of Pudukkottai, and Swami Sadhananda of Bangalore. These were very high profile cases.
How difficult it was for the court to accept this methodology that you had developed as conclusive evidence for cases?
The first case I did was a paternity dispute from Tellicherry in Kerala, and where I was summoned to go to the court and provide evidence. That was very challenging, and I was very nervous. And
For the first time you went to the court?
First time I went to the court, and in our country, these advocates, lawyers, they use very
Uncivilized language?
Uncivilized languages, and they shouted at me and so on for 4 hours, and I never thought that it will be accepted in the court of law. But after 6 months, I got phone call from a judge in Hyderabad congratulating me that the evidence you presented has been accepted.
Very.
So that was a very
Was
surprising.
that the moment of Eureka for you?
Yes. Yes, yes, it was Eureka.
It was complete satisfaction, you said.
Right,
Yes, I have served the country.
no.
I have given country a
Sure.
new methodology that can solve a large
Sure.
number of problems.
Sure.
But you have also been involved in DNA fingerprinting of Indian population.
Yeah.
And you have also founded an organization where you are asking every citizen of the country to give 1 rupee, donate 1 rupee. How is that project going?
That's going very well. Now the technology has dramatically changed. What I mentioned to you, that was the first state
What
of
would
technology.
be the objective of this whole exercise?
Later on, when I did the population study, that has been really path-breaking in the sense that we studied the tribes of Andaman Nicobar Island
For the first time.
for the first time, and the region we took it in the schools, we are taught that our civilization is the most ancient civilization in the world. And if you see the history written, now it is more or less universally agreed that modern human originated around 160,000 years ago in Africa.
We all come from Africa,
Right.
whatever we call ourselves.
Yeah, right.
Whether you are Singh and I am Raza, we come from the same
Right.
origin.
Then they started migrating from there. The prevailing theory was they took northern route of migration via Middle East, Europe, then to Southeast Asia, then to the rest of the world. India was not mentioned in there. So I asked this very fundamental and basic questions that either what we are taught that our civilization, most ancient civilization in the world is wrong, or the history which is written that we came very late in India is wrong. So that was the challenge, and in order to answer that, I selected the tribes of Andaman Nicobar Island because they look like Africans, but
Right.
there are a lot of differences. So we studied them, to collected blood samples, we did DNA study, it was really revealing. We completely sequenced the mitochondrial DNA and compared with the DNA sequence of mitochondria of the entire world population, whatever was available at that time. And based on the mutations you get, you can calculate how old these tribes could have been. And then we calculated that they are about 60 to 70,000 years old.
Right.
That means perhaps
It is during this period when a wave of people, human beings, migrated from Africa. So almost all of us have migrated during that period, but have taken different routes.
only
to
a
come
group
to India.
of that time population very small, only group of people they moved out from there.
Right.
So on this basis you could tell that they are the perhaps the first descendant of the man who moved out of Africa,
Right.
and proposed the theory of southern route of migration via India through coastal route.
Right.
So it was very challenging for them, and we wrote, myself and my group, we wrote a paper in Science saying the southern route of migration, and normally your papers are turned down immediately, but I was surprised that it got accepted and asked to modify some bit. I was presently surprised, but when that issue of Science came up, there were two other articles based on anthropological studies. They supported what we said.
What science was
perhaps
saying.
the time was ripe. They were looking for solid evidence to propose this. So, now the southern
So,
route.
the conclusion basically is that all of us have migrated at different points of time from Africa, and all of us are descendants of the human beings that born in Africa.
That is
And
true.
then
Entire world population, yes.
entire world population. So, there is no difference in the difference of color, the difference of his skin, the difference of eyes, these things.
These are
very
adaptation.
superficial.
They are
difference
adaptation.
Adaptation over a period of time, and
right.
it also proves the theory of evolution of human beings.
Absolutely.
It rejects completely the theory of creation.
Right.
Completely. I would have continued this discussion because it's turning very, very interesting, but due to lack of time, you have been awarded by almost all agencies, scientific, national, whatever. Did it give you a satisfaction, or you said that these things come your way when you do first rate science?
I think I never worked for any particular of this kind of recognition. The greatest satisfaction for a scientist is that when you do something new and publish in high ranking journals, and entire world scientific community accepts it and gives you respect, that is much more than any award would give you.
Any message for the younger generation?
I mean, I can say that what I followed, one is that you should be ambitious, and that ambition should be such that you would like to be second to none in whatever you are doing, but not by pulling somebody else's leg, but making yourself more competitive and coming first in that, whatever you do. And second is that I always take care of time. So, if I am given time, I reach at time, and even at home, I make a note of it, how much time I am wasting in something else. So, this I have
never
followed.
waste time. Be first rate, don't be second to anybody. That is what one should do when one is doing science. It was fascinating to talk to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
We will come back next week with another equally fascinating personality. Keep watching Eureka every week.